Hi everyone, so just following on from the previous video, so if we look at this example, the selling price of product A is, let's do the batch approach first. So remember we have two choices, weighted average or batch approach. So let's do weighted average first. So the weighted average, as we said before, for A, so if we call A the cheese tour, so that weighted average would be 2/3 is my ratio. For product A, the selling price of product A is 125. I don't know what the quantity is, but remember, so this is cheese. The variable cost of the cheese tour is 65. I don't know what the quantity is. Alright, and then the weighted average for product B, which is the wine tour, will be 1/3. The selling price, they said it's irrespective of wine or cheese, it's still 125. Don't know what the quantity is, but I know the variable cost for the wine tour is 80. Again, I don't know what the quantity is there, but I know the fixed cost is 2000. Alright, so now effectively you have, let's just solve bracket for bracket. So in this bracket you essentially have 125 times 65, and that's equal to 60. Sorry, 125 minus 65 is 60, right? Which gets multiplied by 2/3 effectively, and then plus. So that bracket is essentially that minus that is 60, and then this whole bracket gets multiplied by 2/3. Alright, and then 125 minus 80 is 45, and then the 45 gets multiplied by the 1/3. So you have 1/3, or so I'll say 45 times Q times 1/3. So effectively you have those two brackets now. Okay, so to recap, that bracket becomes this. So that big bracket becomes this, and this big bracket becomes that. And then we still say minus the 2000 is equal to 0. Alright, so now if we just multiply this out further, 60 times 2/3 is 40, and 45 times the 30 is 15. So effectively we have 40. 60 times 2/3 is 40, so you have 40 times Q for that bracket, and 45 times the 30 is 15, plus 15 times Q for that bracket. This 2000 goes over, equals 2000. So then effectively we have Q is equal to, remember 40 plus 15 is 55, so Q is equal to 2000 divided by 55, and that is equal to 36.36. Okay, and now to solve this, what we're going to do is for cheese. So in other words, students going on the cheese tour, you're basically going to say this 36.36. The ratio for the cheese tour was 2/3. If you times it by 2/3, you're effectively going to get roughly 24.2 students, which is rounded to 25. And for the wine tour, you're going to say 36.36 times the 1/3, that's the ratio, which effectively is going to give you 12.1 students, which is around rounded to 30 effectively. Alright, so while we're at it, so that's the weighted average approach. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing just for the batch approach. So you're going to see we're going to get to the same answers. So the batch approach, which is this approach over here, remember the batch approach, instead of using 1/3 and 2/3, we're using 2 and 1. So cheese is 2, wine is 1. So in front of this bracket, I'm going to put 2, and in front of that bracket, I'm essentially going to put 1. Right, and then 2 times 125 is 2/5. Well, that effectively comes to 250. I can take that away, and sorry, no, it's 125 minus 65 is 60, and let's rather do this. Let me not jump the gun. 125. Let's just go back before I jump the gun. 125 minus 65 is 60, and that gets multiplied by 2. Right, and then 125 minus 45 minus 80 is 45, and that gets multiplied by 1. Right, so this 60 times 2 is 120. 45 times 1 is 45. Alright, so now we have 120 plus 60 plus 45, which is 165. So instead of having 2000 divided by 55, we're going to have 2000 divided by 165, and that's going to give you going to effectively give you roughly 12.1, and then for cheese we just take the 12.1 and we times it by not 2 over 3 but times 2, because it's the batch approach, and again that gives you 24.2, which is 125, and the wine to it, it's the 12.1 times the 1, which gives you 12.1, which is rounded to 30. So very important, guys, is that in the exam you won't be told which approach to use. You can decide. It's really up to you. Whatever approach is easier. I just want to recap in terms of what you need to first jot down before you do anything. So the first things first is, the minute you see there's two products, in this case wine or cheese, and you have to calculate a break even, that means you need a ratio. So you must be given a ratio. So in addition to jotting down your selling price, variable cost, etc., you need to identify what the ratio is. And then, like I said, we still use this equation, or this linear equation. The only difference is we have selling price and variable cost for each product separately. So selling price, variable cost for product A, selling price, variable cost for product B, and then we put the respective ratio in front of the selling price and the variable cost of A, and the respective ratio of B in front of the selling price and variable cost for product B. And we can add a product C, we can add a product D, we can add multiple products. It would be the same principle, as long as you're putting the ratio next to the respective selling price and variable cost. But very importantly, lots of students make this mistake. There's no ratio attached to the fixed cost, because the fixed cost is not dependent on a product. Alright, and then once you have that, it's again just a matter of solving for the unknown, solving for x. And right at the end, depending on which approach you use, if you use the weighted average approach, you're going to multiply essentially by a fraction to get the final total for, in this case, cheese and wine. And if you use the batch approach, you're going to multiply by a whole number to get the split between, in this case, the cheese and the wine. But both approaches will give you the same answer, so again, you decide which approach is best for you. Alright guys, so that's it in terms of the content for this week. Yeah, so we'll check back next week with the new content. Thanks guys, cheers.